To everybody. It's a very special moment for myself and the SPP team, and we're delighted to have you from literally all over the world joining this session today. So we're going to be around 90 minutes. Hopefully we'll finish a little bit earlier, but it's going to be hopefully a really useful and interesting session. If you want to stay muted, that would be ideal for the moment, but please do chat in the box below. And you can talk to each other, and that's absolutely fine. One thing I should cover, and if you could go to the next slide, Astrid, we should all just cover our antitrust as we should do. And although this is going to be a fairly relaxed and informative meeting, hopefully, and it's not intended to be polished in any way, we should all obviously observe antitrust. That does include the chat, so do beware what you're posting and be careful about what you're saying in there. So we'll just go on to the agenda. In what we've got over the next 90 minutes. So we're going to do some introductions. There are many of you who are now joining the call who are thinking, what on earth is this Sustainable Procurement Pledge thing? You've been invited by your bosses or your colleagues, and hopefully we'll cover that very shortly as well. And hopefully you'll find it very useful. So we'll go through our new purpose, vision and mission, and we'll go through what we've been developing in the evenings over the last few months. We're delighted to be able to announce our new website. It is very new, literally started a few minutes ago. So if everyone would like to go to www.spp.earth, you're welcome to do that now in the background. We'll be talking about it a bit in a minute. Fantastic work from particularly Michael in the SPT team to get that up to speed, even with some late suggestions from certain people, can't imagine who, and coped with really well. We're then going to be announcing our first challenge. We'll explain what a challenge is, we'll explain what it's about, but we're delighted to announce that and how you can really get involved in that. Most importantly, we're a community. We're a community of CPOs, procurement professionals, experts, consultants, students. We're a real mix of wonderful people all trying to sort of fight towards the same direction. So you will be meeting your peers. We'll be organising you all into little rooms, which, considering the number of attendees we've got, is going to be quite a few rooms, but that'll be fun. The intention of that we'll cover very shortly. Finally, and by no means least, I'm delighted to be welcomed today by Kelley Hinds at Roche, who is one of the group that we've been interviewing as part of the content development for what we've been doing. And Kelley has got is doing some fantastic things at a fascinating business. So delighted to Kelley to be one of the first who will share a kind of short personal perspective on her journey and how she's been able to make the progress that she has. And we'll all be, over the coming weeks and months, be learning from many more of you as well. And we have some very interesting new videos for the website that many of you have provided as insights and thoughts. Okay, if we can go on to the next stage, next slide, I'll share with you the team. So a very mixed, diverse, geographically spread team. This team has been working together in the evenings over many months with Thomas and Bertrand, and I'm delighted to have them as a team. I think they've done some fantastic work. We're split broadly into an activity team, a content team. Michael is bravely and boldly handling all the marketing and the comms and the website. And of course, we have our co-founders, Bertrand and Thomas, which we'll hear from in a second. But what a team. All volunteers, all doing this in our part-time. We will no doubt become more professional and smooth in what we're doing as this initiative grows, but it is already gathering quite a lot of pace. So one of the requests that will be out of this session will be for your support and help in the future, and all thoughts and ideas are going to be very welcome. So just a quick recap of 2 months ago, as it was now. So you just go to the next slide, Ashley, thank you. So we are going to be meeting every 2 months. That's the intention at the moment. We may have breakout activities and conversations. Just to recap what we did last time. We had our first proper meeting. We had 50 or 60 different individuals, a range of people from CPOs through to, as I said, students or young professionals. And one of the reasons we came together, which we'll cover the purpose of the SPP in a second, was really to understand why is important to this group. And what could we do as an early initiative to try and channel it and support you? So we took away some fantastic advice and support. We did a survey that was completed by about 120 different people from a whole range of different positions and geographies, and got some really good advice about what both CPOs could be doing to support this movement, and younger professionals and those earlier in their career could be doing as well. And hopefully we've been able to put that into action, and are very excited to be able to announce that. So I should hand you over to the co-founders and the guys that over a glass of wine one climate week got very excited about this idea, and ever since has been working hard on this. So Thomas, Bertrand, over to you. And Thomas first.
Okay, thanks. And maybe I just want to also express my heartfelt thanks to all of you for participating. We are 125 people right now, and I know there's so many things that you could also be doing other than sitting here talking to us. So I really appreciate your time. But also for the ones who answered to the survey and participated at our last get together, providing all this insight. And I think, Oliver, you're right. We really tried to listen. And that's what we have now tried to reflect in the reframing in terms of our purpose, as well as our vision. And you will hear about some of the values that we have taken. By the way, I also want to thank this amazing team that has been spending, I don't know how many hours trying to get this ready for, in fact, for all of you, all of us, because what you will see is really what they have done in order to meet the feedback that you have provided to us. But when we talk about the purpose, what is it that we are, why are we here? Why do we even talk about SPP and now with our new collaboration phase? And it is because we recognize that at the essence, we are a function, we are procurement. And yes, amongst our community, we have people who is preparing for procurement, we have people who are actively in procurement, we have people who are supporting procurement, or people who have retired for procurement. But we are a community that is centered around this amazing function of procurement. And what we also have recognized is that when it comes to sustainability and sustainable supply chains, it is absolutely our responsibility. And we don't see that as being an add-on that's being introduced in our organizations. We see this as an integral part of doing great procurement also moving forward. And we say that it's our responsibility, of course, doesn't mean that there are not others who are here. We have great sustainability champions in our organizations, and we are collaborating with them. We are trying to push in the same direction. But the age where we say, well, this is somebody else's problem is over. And we fundamentally believe that we have to step up for that. We also say that we absolutely will build a sustainable future for the people, for the next generation, for our planet. And with that also, we want to make clear that we have a high degree of determination here. It's not a nice to have. As you know, there is no planet B. We have listened to you, and you've all said that you've joined this community because you fundamentally believe that we have a very critical role in making sure that we transition towards a sustainable growth environment that will serve humans as well as ours. So that's the purpose, and we felt with these words we could make that clear. Now with the next slide, we want to show you what is the vision that we have here, and the vision is very clearly centered around 2030. It's where the SDGs have also the targets around the SDGs are coming to an end. It's the end of this decade, the decade of impact, and our vision is here that it's all supply chains across the world, across industries, who then have embedded sustainable procurement practices. And we felt that the word embedded was also the right one. It's not again, it's not an add-on, it's an absolutely integral part of how companies are operating. Some companies have, of course, made bold commitments, whether it's science-based targets or other ambitions that they have. But we don't just want to address those organizations, we want to make sure that everybody is included. And that's what we wanted to capture with the vision. And Bertrand is going to take you through some of the values that we would like to represent as an organization. So Bertrand, I'm handing over to you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. So looking at our values, the first value that we share together is integrity. Integrity is the basis, as we want to be transparent, And we believe very strongly in equity in diversity. And those days we want to make the call quite strong, looking at equity and diversity. And again, also looking at the second value that we like to share with all of you, it's resilience. Resilience in terms of we never give up and we will not give up. At the same time, resilience has also gained new sense in those days of COVID-19, making also our supply chain resilience. And here, we in sustainability and in procurement, we have a huge role to play in this supply chain resilience. Very importantly is courage. The courage, we need to have courage in order to face also sometimes the fear or eventually the respect of that agenda that we have to manage, feeling sometimes alone in our environment or looking for solutions. That's why we have created the SPP. And we have been very much inspired together with Thomas originally and now with all of you to reach that vision together with the passion, but with the commitment, the enthusiasm, but also to share and to support each other to have the courage to make it in this decade. And this will drive very strongly our collaboration. The SPP and the platform we are now kicking off today is a platform of collaboration of all of us, of all of you around the globe. And it is impressive to see how many regions, how many countries, how many diversity we have together today. Thank you. And this will very much enhance our connectivity. Our connectivity because we commit to connect with our environment. We commit to connect with all of us and to collaborate along the communities and the services that we are managing. And finally, our accountability, because you can count on us and we count on you and we count on each other. And for that, we are committed to make all our decisions very much embedded along the principles of the pledge for being the reasons to be all together this afternoon, or this morning for some of you, or this evening for others. Maybe moving to the next chart. We have, following the survey and the workshop of a few weeks ago, very strongly reflected on everything that you told us. And we came with two pillars. On one hand, empower and equip. Many of you, many of the people which were into this workshop have said, I don't have the tools or I am not empowered. SPP, our pledge, will empower and equip. And we will go today into the details. But it is also to encourage leadership. And encourage leadership is also to encourage entrepreneurship, accountability. And to do so, I think that in particular, we as leaders, CPOs of the organizations, but also teachers, professors, we need to encourage leadership and to create in procurement sustainable leader, having the courage, walking the talk, and empowering teams, and also organizing the tools and the systems and the processes and the community to make it. All together, we can really make it. And this is for that reason that at that stage, I would like to introduce Michael. Michael will now guide us through what we have built up over the last 6 weeks, listening to the previous workshop to today, 1st of July, open the www.spp.earth. Michael?
Thank you, Pedro. Yeah, hello, my name is Michael. I'm a marketing consultant, so I'm here with the exot underneath us. And I live in the Netherlands, and the Netherlands is a country which is about to drown if we do not change our behavior immediately and stop global warming. And that's a reason why I always engage in sustainability projects like the SPP. And today, you see it now, I saw many people already try to get on or even get on already. I would like to present you some features of the page very briefly, because I think it's quite self-explanatory. So next page, please, Astrid. Yeah, we mentioned it's a collaboration platform. It is it's a closed community. We built it as a closed community where only we have access to it, and that's where we can connect with each other, where we can collaborate with each other, where we can ask questions to somebody if you have like a specific topic. and where we can share experiences, case studies, and knowledge, and then learn from each other. That's the idea of our webpage. However, as mentioned before, it is only a platform. So as every community, the SPP Ambassador platform lives from the engagement and content from you guys, from the members. So let me quick show you more about the webpage. We keep the LinkedIn group, of course. We still have it. We have 1,400 people on the LinkedIn group. It's more for us the news channel, where we can share articles, where we can like articles. The real content, if you want to go deeper, if you want to connect with somebody, it's on our webpage, or on your webpage. Next page. To access, I think it's quite easy. You need only follow 2 steps. First, read the Sustainable Procurement Pledge carefully and commit to all 5 points by pushing I pledge. After that, you will get forwarded to another page and where you can create the account. Here, we ask you to fill in some details, which are quite important for us to learn more about you, and later when you want to connect with each other, so you can see, is this the right person? Is it a person in the same industry like I am, and so on. So it takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes to answer the questions. After that, you create an account, and within 5 minutes, you get an activation link. If not, please check your spam. It's going to happen. Yeah, and then you are a member of the SPP platform. And then you get 2 more menu items, one which is challenges and ambassadors. Ambassadors, here you see all the ambassadors which have pledged, which have created an account. Here you see in the blue circle, you can connect with them, or you can send them an email. And on the right side, you can filter all ambassadors we will have by industry, by name, or by what you told us what you would like to provide. And the next ambassador only is our challenges. Our challenges are packed with selected articles and selected case studies, interviews to a specific topic. We have a content team. Oliver introduced it at the beginning. The content team will go into it in a moment. So for me, it's a handover, maybe next page. So I just can ask you, let's know, create an account, get connected with each other, keep our platform alive. And if you have any feedback, please, tell us. It was done overnight. So if you find everything or have any comments, please don't hesitate to contact us. So next, I would like to hand over now to the content team.
Hi, I'm Marco, and I'm a procurement specialist, as many of you are. And I and many of you, we have made our pledge, and we are committed to drive change, to take action. And on our way, we might face various challenges that could prevent us from achieving our pledge. The SPP will focus on each of the challenges that we might encounter on our ambitious journey, and will offer helpful tools and know-how in order to equip us on our endeavor. Hereby, the SPP team will not create own content. Instead, we will signpost the most relevant and existing content we can find. For each of the challenges, we will also share inspiring stories about our ambassadors and sustainability leaders that have already started to drive change. And as we see us as a community, we encourage you to contribute with content and to collaborate with us. Now I hand over to my colleagues from the content team, Caitlin and Anai.
Hi everyone, this is Anai speaking. I'm a procurement graduate. Thank you, Marco. Yeah. So thank you. What we're going to discuss now is what challenges are we going to be sharing through this journey. Knowing that sustainability is a wide topic, we decided that a good starting point would be picking 10 challenges that we consider them to be highly relevant in today's procurement practices. So as you can see, they cover sustainability in different procurement perspectives, such as collaborations, projects, different focus topics, and some specific materials. But today, let's talk about challenge number 1. So I am going to hand over to Caitlin, my colleague, that will introduce you to this first challenge. Caitlin, over to you.
Thank you, Anahi. So for our first challenge, we decided to keep it a bit general as an introduction to our community and address what is sustainability and why is it relevant for procurement. So here you'll be able to see in our posts ways to address what do these sustainability practices mean for my job, or what should I look for when I'm searching for online tools. So we invite you to help us address these questions by commenting on our posts and letting us know what you think about them. Now I'll hand it over to Oliver to take us to our breakout session.
I need to drink. I forgot to press mute. Thank you. I hope that was all very interesting from the team. The team have worked really hard on this concept over the last few weeks. So we're delighted to get your feedback. It's very early days. We're still learning very much what to do and how to bring this community together. We're very conscious about starting a live collaboration platform. Many colleagues of mine in the past here will be very aware of attempts to do that in the past. And the realities are it really takes a community to be able to participate. It takes you to want to share and want to learn and want to actually take part. At the very least, we'll be meeting every 2 months to share ideas, and hopefully that's what we're going to do now. So, technology willing, I am now going to send 122 of you off into small groups of between 6 and 7 and 8 people, and where you're going to get to know each other. We're a very diverse group from all over the world in different roles and in different levels of seniority, and hopefully everyone can embrace it and learn from each other and share ideas. So we've got about 45 minutes for this session, and the time will fly by. Firstly, and for many of you, you're going to have to organise yourselves. There won't be a facilitator, but we're all grown-ups. We've all been in Zoom meetings before. I'm sure we can deal with it. But we're going to ask who you are. So if you could go around the table, literally, virtually, introduce who you are. Why is sustainable procurement important to you? What does it mean to you? And what are some of the challenges of actually making it happen? And then what we'd like to discuss, once we've been around the table and introduced ourselves, is what sort of ideas are there about how sustainability could be more easily embedded in procurement. So we want to share ideas, we want to share experiences, and we want your thoughts. We would really like anyone who comes up with any specific ideas about how the SPP as a group, as an initiative in these meetings and on the website could actually help you more. We'd like you to put it in the chat. Does everyone understand that? You can all nod your heads, put your hands up, say yes. It's not difficult, is it? Yes. So I am now going to send you off into rooms. Now, because of technologies and because many of you are using different devices and Chromebooks and all that sort of thing, there will be a few of you who won't be sent to rooms. You'll be left with me in the main room, which is a room in itself, I suppose. There will be some of you that will go immediately. There will be some of you that will take a few minutes to go. It will take a few moments. If you don't find yourself going anywhere, press the breakout button box at the bottom when that should reveal the alert that shows you've been sent to a room. If you end up in a room that's tiny, there's only 2 or 3 people in it and something's gone wrong, just leave and come back to the main room and I will assign you back to a proper full room. Okay? So I can do the best I can, the technology can do it as best I can, but we're relying on you as good grown-ups and sensible human beings to have fun and enjoy yourselves and hopefully it'll be useful. Okay? Have fun. Off you go. You'll all slowly disappear. Okay. For those who are remaining in this room, you'll hopefully be assigned to a room very shortly. So those are still in this room. If you look at I have assigned you to a room, so there's an alert somewhere on your computer. If you can have a little look for it. Again, if you click on the breakout rooms button at the bottom, it sometimes helps reveal it. It may be a situation where you're not able to join because of technology, but hopefully that's not the case. Stuart, you're still here?
Yeah, I was in a room with Emily in 12, so I just jumped back here.
Do you want me to put you somewhere else?
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Okay, let me have a look. Okay. It won't let me assign you, unfortunately, Stu.
No props. I'll go and join that group.
I think it's because I've already sent you to a room or something. I think you probably have to carry on.
Okay.
And for those that are still here, you're more than welcome to go and join your room, or you're well than welcome to talk to me. Or just stay here and make a cup of tea. You're more than welcome. I know, Ian, you've been invited to a room. Anika, Mohammed, I think you've both been invited to a room, so you're more than welcome to go there if you can find the right button. Okay. Hi, Annika, can you hear me? Right, what are we doing for time?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, it's Eleonora Pessina from Pirelli.
Hello, Eleanor. I was just emailing you. I think,
Okay.
apologies, you didn't get the invite. I think maybe it was blocked by I sent it to you and Marco Marino, I think.
Yeah, indeed, but we didn't receive it. We were trying to understand, yes, how to do. So thank you very much for having sent this to us. And also, at the same time, we received also from for another event, another invitation. Might be that something has gone wrong. So probably.
Oh, right. Apologies.
Yeah.
Apologies. Well,
Not a problem.
I think Marco is here. I think he has been here from the start, I think.
Yeah, and indeed, I was wondering whether I'm still in time or not.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely fine. So what's happening at the moment is we've just broken out into little breakout rooms just to introduce ourselves and just to discuss why sustainable procurement is important to us. So
Okay.
I'm going to put you into one of the rooms, if you don't mind, and
Okay.
we'll have half an hour of discussion, so plenty of time.
Okay.
To say
Okay.
hello.
Thank you
Okay,
very
bear
much.
with me. You're going to room 12. Have fun.
Okay. Join.
Hey, Cesare. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I have a problem with my connection, and can you kindly put me back in the room, please?
Yeah, sure.
5.
Sure. Number 5.
Please.
Okay, off you go.
Thank you much.
Hi, Federico. Hello, Martha.
Hello, Oliver. I just wanted to apologize. I've got to pop onto another call that I couldn't reschedule. So, but I enjoyed the breakout session, and I'll talk to you one-on-one soon and be back on your next group call.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Martha. Thanks for your support. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, Dirk. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was.
That's all right. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I was just telling the breakout group. I have a hard close now. Actually,
Fine. That's absolutely fine. No problem at all.
Try to be there next time again, and I think we speak soon. Next week.
We do. Yeah, no, it'd be good to catch up again. And thanks for your support. I really appreciate it.
Right. Hey, Oliver. Ciao, ciao.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie.
Hi.
How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. We're just finishing up with the breakout rooms in a few minutes.
Oh, nice. I was gonna say, awful quiet in here.
It's just me, you, and someone else who's been stuck here as well with me. But no, it's been going really well. We've got nearly 130 different people, I think, and Bob's with everyone he needs to be with, put it that way. So it's all good, including the most important people at the moment. So that's good.
Awesome. That's great. The call with AIM went really well just now. I'll update you on it later.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we got we're going to hear from Kelley now, so it's good timing, obviously, for that as well.
Sweet.
Cool. Well, I'm going to call them out in a couple of minutes.
I got kicked out of my room. This is a new party.
Hey, Ben, this is a really bad party.
This seems like a good one. I should have worn a better shirt. I like that shirt.
Thank you, mate. Well, it only comes out for special occasions, like 200
Gotcha.
Zoom calls. So
Yeah, right. Yeah. They're nerve-wracking to say the least.
Yeah, no, it's all good fun. It's all good fun.
Where are you located?
Just outside London, west of London. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
My favorite town.
Whereabouts are you?
I'm actually on Martha's Vineyard right now, outside Massachusetts. I live in Boston in general, though, but currently in the middle of nature, which is amazing, on an island. So, but I have a lot of family in London, so go there quite frequently.
Who do you work for again, Ben? Remind me.
I work for a company called Fair Market. We do AI procurement, but we've seen a lot of companies start using us for sustainability. So we do vendor tagging. So actually, it started with like diverse suppliers, right? So minority-owned businesses or female-owned businesses, or like small business issues, right? And now we've seen it even fall into sustainability, right? Where I want to know which vendors are sustainable or are committed to doing green sourcing, and then I want to buy from them before I buy from a company that's not. And so we've helped a lot with that recently. So we're trying to get more involved with this.
Great, nice one. Well, welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome back, everybody. You've all come flooding back into my life. Now, it was completely random and potluck as to who you're with, so that probably means some of you had a great time and probably some of you had a bad time, but never mind. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. But hopefully it was very useful. I'm sure it was. There's plenty of fantastic people on this call, so I hope you enjoyed it. So we'll just wait for everyone to get back in the room, and then we're going to be hearing from Kelley Hinds.
Room 11 is back with everybody.
We had a fantastic session, Oliver. Thank you very much.
Yes.
As long as you two are happy, I'm happy.
No, we ran out of time.
Excellent.
I think everybody ran out of time, so.
Yeah, good. Well, it's great to hear. So we're still well over 100 people, so that's great to see. And I know we've had a few people apologise and say they had to leave, but that's absolutely fine. So Astrid, are you there? Can you put up the next slide?
Astrid is always there, Oliver.
Yes, true. That's true. Yes, but she isn't. There we go. We'll go to the next one. Lovely. Into the next slide. No? Yes? Doesn't really matter. So I am delighted to be joined by Kelley Hinds, and I'm just going to spotlight your video, Kelley. There you go. So you don't necessarily need the slides now, Astrid. We just got me and Kelley. If you want to stop sharing, it's probably easier. And you don't have to, Kelley, you don't have to stare at your face. while we talk, which is slightly disconcerting, isn't it? So delighted you can join us, and thank you for helping out with your insight into the world of sustainable procurement. We've had some interesting chats in the last week or so, and I've learned plenty about what Roche are doing, and indeed what you're doing. And I hope you don't mind me saying, I think it really kind of, the work that you're doing and the way that you think and feel about the future of procurement, I think is actually very much aligned with what the Sustainable Procurement Pledge is trying to do. So you're one of hopefully many that will take this chair and have a chance to sort of share their insight with the group. And I think as this group evolves, we'll be hearing more and more from lots of people who have little different perspectives. And I suspect many on this group will agree with you. So please go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
So I'm Kelley Hinds. I'm the head of sustainability and risk in global procurement at Roche. So that means that my team covers both pharmaceuticals and the diagnostics division. And when it comes to sustainability, we cover everything from modern slavery to greenhouse gas emissions. So Roche has a very dedicated passion around sustainability. And then with procurement, we have the ability to make bigger change in the world by holding everyone to the same standards that we hold to ourselves, but also by looking at the things that we buy and finding ways to address those topics.
And tell us more about your background. Have you worked at Roche for, I think, for quite a long time, haven't you, if I remember rightly?
So I have been with Roche for almost 11 years now. Prior to this, I joined Genentech in 2009. Prior to that, I was at a small biotech that focused on type 2 diabetes and dyslipidemia. Before that, I was at a very specialized investment bank that did everything that was heavily regulated except for pharmaceuticals. And then I started my career in hospitals and IT systems, and then worked in 2 different types of law firms. So corporate bankruptcy and corporate litigation.
So you know risk and regulation better than most, I suspect, by the sound of it.
I do. I have a very broad perspective of it.
Excellent. And what does sustainability mean to you, and how does that fit in with that background in risk and regulation?
So with the background in risk and regulation, looking at sustainability, well, actually I need to take a step back. So I've always been passionate about being able to make a change in the world. And sustainability is making those changes that we need long term. You know, it's everything from making sure that all humans are treated as human to addressing, you know, the growing problems that we have with the climate. So what I see is that people need help. So it's good to have rules and ways to make people behave better in their own best interest, whether that's how they treat other people or how they treat the environment. So that's why I've always seen that there is a connection between regulation and risk and sustainability. They're one and the same, because at the end of the day, you are trying to change behavior to make sure that we can continue to do the things that we want to do.
Okay. And what would be some of your advice for people who are perhaps earlier on in their career in procurement, or dare I say who's to advise CPOs, but for senior management generally, what would you recommend as sort of how they can help each other as both senior and mature professionals and those just starting out? How can they help each other to make sustainability more embedded in procurement?
I think that they need each other. You need to have the open conversations about these topics, because a lot of them, you know, for instance, scope 3, we don't have an easy answer. So you need both the experience at the top that have been in business, that have seen things, but also sort of that new passionate drive for innovation that you get and that you have when you're earlier in your career. And so I think that when you're combining those forces and addressing real issues, that's where you get to actual change. You know, I think it's a bit like, and I see Lucy, who's on my team, in this, and she's gonna laugh, but it's like the cattle thing, right? I had shared with Oliver this story about cows and Roche. So we were looking last year at a project of how we get to zero scope 3. This is a very big ambition, and went down into the procurement data and saw that one of our sites in Pennsburg, their biggest greenhouse gas emission turned out to be cattle. And we were shocked. You know, Roche is a pharma company. What do we have to do with cattle? But what we do is we buy a lot of bovine plasma factor that goes into our diagnostics. And that comes from dairy cattle. So it got us thinking about, well, there's the scope 3 reduction, which we can do, you know, through savings. That's the basic calculation. Or there is real change that we might be able to create if we get down to the material level and start addressing some of these greenhouse gas emission issues. And so that started us looking at cows and how cows are fed. And is there a way to get cattle to burp less? And then you have lower emissions from methane. And so we've identified a couple of potential solutions that we're looking to collaborate on and partner with. But I think, you know, for me, when you're talking about that very senior look and that young look, we got to that information because we had a very experienced Swiss safety, health, and environment professional leading this project from a traditional look. And the person who was doing the research was just finishing their master's thesis. And so the combination of thought between the two produced this very interesting information that we can then do something big and real with.
Yeah, excellent. I was going to ask you about cows burping, of course, because that was one of the most interesting things we did discuss. And I think that's really fascinating, because I think one of the other things we talked about was the fact that the future of sustainable procurement isn't just about, you know, collecting data and isn't just about risk and reward, and tracking risks. It's about engaging suppliers and supporting them and working with them. And I think that story also highlights that. I mean, it seems like you very much agree with that kind of future of engagement with suppliers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, one of the reasons that I really love what I do is that power to drive change. You know, as Roche, we have 60,000 suppliers. We spend 18.5 billion Swiss francs per year with suppliers. And it's not the most poetic way to think about it, but having money is having influence, which is having power. So to really drive change, we have to look at these issues from where we can influence it. And I think that that is the goal of sustainability and procurement, is because we're right there connecting to businesses, looking at the things that we buy, looking at that profit, and then being able to change things because we have the data and we have the power. So I think that is why it's so critical that procurement and sustainability are one, and that we really drive the change that we want to see in the world, because if we don't take advantage of the power that we have, then we're missing a huge opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to ask if anyone wants to pose a question to Kelley, they can put it in the chat or just put their hand up. So have a little think about that. There's been one from John O here at Supply Shift. He's asking about what you see as probably one of the biggest reasons why businesses don't consider sustainability in procurement. What are some of the blockers that you've experienced or you've overcome?
I think, well, I sit in a very privileged space. You know, the founding family members who still sit on the board, Andre Hoffman, his father started World Wildlife Fund. So sustainability is literally in the DNA of Roche. So when it comes to challenges that I've faced, it's far less than peers in other industries have had. I think that prior to COVID-19, the challenges were always around, well, that's not, how does sustainability fit into our business goals? You know, how does this help us? We don't have the money to spend on things. This isn't our priority. So the challenge has always been, how do you influence that conversation internally if you don't have support? So I think that's why when we talked the other day, I said you have to focus on process. You have to be able to create that business case, that business proposal, and you also need to be able to think creatively so that you can align the sustainability goals with the business goals, because if you spend some time on it, usually they're not that different.
Absolutely, absolutely. A great question from Nina Baumann of Merck, one of your peers, obviously. What are your experiences with demonstrating return on corporate responsibility investment and sort of valuing that that input?
So with us at the very top level, Roche has been #1 on the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, or within the top 2 now, I have to say, because we dropped to 2 last year for the last 11 years. So we very much know how much investment comes from our corporate responsibility, from our sustainability initiatives. I think that the last figure I heard is there's been about $1 billion invested in Roche because of our sustainability performance. So for us, the value is there, and the challenge now from the board is, how do we do more? How do we get even bigger, both within our own walls and how we provide more value to patients through sustainability, but also how do we influence down the supply chain?
Yeah. Excellent. Question from Emily Pryor of Manufacture 2030. Do you think there's an opportunity to use knowledge and ideas from within Roche to support your suppliers to improve faster?
There is, and it's actually something that my team is developing right now. Lucy and I were just talking about it yesterday. So we are going to launch a sustainable supplier program where any supplier that Roche has can sign up, and we're actually going to give them training. So we've already had our supplier code of conduct. Part of my team is that supplier audit function for sustainability, but we want to do more than, you know, your traditional audit corrective action plan. We want to empower our suppliers to be sustainable in themselves. And so we are looking to provide them with education on everything from how you measure greenhouse gas to how you do diversity and inclusion. You know, Roche and especially Genentech, we have some fantastic internal programs. And so it's about sharing that knowledge and sharing that toolkit, not just holding suppliers to audits, but really bringing them along with us. So, does that answer? Should I go to Seb's question next?
I think Oliver's frozen, so maybe if you can see the questions.
Yeah,
all right.
absolutely. You cut out a little bit there, but.
Oh, okay. Can you still hear me? All right. How do we support category manager with thresholds and benchmarks? We have different sustainability
ideas.
Sorry, am I breaking up?
No, you're fine, Kelly. I think Oliver's got a bit of a delay.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Lucy. So we support the category managers. We provide a lot of data on the suppliers. We have inherent risks that we look at. We have, depending on the threshold and the location, we have additional sustainability questionnaires. We also, in 2019, we built our own in-house inherent risk tool that looks at sustainability, pulls from a lot of different publicly available indices, and we actually looked through our entire 60,000 supplier base. So we give our category managers a lot of data, but what we do that's now unique, and Lucy is here on the call with me today, she's one of our sustainability managers, which is a brand new, I reorganized my team. So we have a function that just creates sustainability projects. We look at, here's the data that we have that we're spending. Is there a problem we can solve with suppliers? And then we fully bake the project inside my team, and we then roll it out to the suppliers, to the category managers, and get everybody involved to implement it. So it's really driving change in a different way. Let's
Wonderful. Wonderful. Oliver, are you back? Seems that we lost you. We have lost Oliver. Oliver, maybe we can take one last question and then we will continue. Thomas, if you are still on with us, we will continue. Maybe a last question that I see eventually from Ton. Do we have one?
Kelley, you see all these questions. There's so much we want to know.
I do.
Kelley, we still have time for one if you wish.
Can you read my question or shall I speak it out loud?
If scope 3 and primary carbon data works in decarbonization? Is this your question?
It's a difficult one.
That's a difficult one, Don.
But a deep, but a deep one. I have 100 ambassadors here.
Okay.
You do.
Okay.
So the entire problem with scope 3 is, outside of oil and gas and electricity and agriculture and the clothing industry, there's not a lot of science behind these emissions factors. And I think, every company has had problem getting that primary carbon information, the scope 1 and scope 2 from their suppliers. So it's a big unknown. I think that we have, it would be great, as you say, to see full carbon transparency, but we all struggle with it. I think World Economic Forum did a study on things like the questionnaire-based reach outs for scope 1 and scope 2, and even BMW has struggled to make this model work. And they've been one of the most passionate around it. So I think we have to think differently. And with Roche, what we're doing is we're engaging them directly and providing different incentives. Like we're looking at a project that will provide renewable energy to our suppliers at a discount. And one of the things that they have to turn over to us is that scope 1 and scope 2. The other way we're looking at it is training.